Welcome to the American Bistro Grill Christmas special. I'm your host, Roberto Alvarez-Galloso, serving you the best during the Christmas season. And for me, it's a pleasure and an honor. We have had her many times, and listening to her music is one of the greatest blessings of the world, Carrie Cunningham.
Thank you.
The reason why we have her here is because two of her Christmas carols, which I've heard a lot, have really impressed me, to the point that we even left an award last year. She recorded two Christmas carols, Eggnog and Beneath the Mistletoe.
Yes. Thank you.
Now, let me see. I wanted to ask two questions about Beneath the Mistletoe and Eggnog.
Okay.
Okay, the two questions that I wanted to ask was, what inspired you to write and record Eggnog and Beneath the Mistletoe? And how were you able to do a duo with Daniel Mason?
Well, we'll start off with Beneath the Mistletoe. I actually started writing that song back in, I believe it was 2012. I started writing that song, and it had a completely different vibe to it. I had Faith Hill on the brain when I was doing it, and for some reason, I was just writing it in the style that Faith Hill would sing it, and it just wasn't connecting with me, obviously, because I'm not Faith Hill. But I got frustrated with myself, and I decided to just put it down. So I left it alone for a good couple years, and then when I ended up getting transferred down to California, because I was up in Washington State, and my husband had moved us down to California because of his job. I was now living in a beach town, and the vibe just hit me differently, and I'm like, why was I trying to write a song called Beneath the Mistletoe and really trying to get this country vibe and thinking of Faith Hill at the time when it's not really a country style song with lyrically speaking. So I just spent some time down on the beach by the water, and I just felt this kind of like reggae groove kind of go on. I'm like, and so I sent it off to one of my mentors, Amanda Williams, and I'm like, what do you think about this? And she's like, yeah, I like that groove a whole lot better, but it's still a little wordy. I had more words in there, and I was just trying to force them in, and I'm like, So I started taking out words and just making it more of a nice vibe the way it is now, and it's ended up being the way it is. So it was a lot of writing and rewriting and just trying to find the right groove that fit the song, and that's how it ended up. But it was not an overnight thing. It took me years to write it, set it down, put it on a shelf, move to a different state, everything. So that song was quite a process, but I love it. I love it. And go ahead.
And then also the other question was, what inspired you to write Eggnog, and how were you able to do the duo with Daniel Mason?
So with Eggnog, that's a really funny story. A couple years ago, right, the year that I wrote the song, which was 2020, my son it was the holiday season, and actually, so I think it was 2019 when I wrote that song, or got the idea from it. So I remember picking him up from school, and he's in 5th grade now, and he had asked me, we were listening to Christmas music on the way home, and he had asked me, he's like, can we listen to I Saw Mommy Kiss Santa? And so I'm like, sure. So we will listen to that song on the radio, and he says, Mom, would you ever kiss Santa Claus? And out of my mouth said, well, it depends on what's in the eggnog. As a joke. And a lot of people like to don't drink eggnog just straight. Sometimes there's a little bit of a libation of some sort, and he was so shocked. He's like, "Mom," the fact that I would kiss Santa Claus all because of the eggnog, and I just had to laugh. And then I'm like, I think I'm gonna write that song. And so I took it to my co-writer Hal Odell, and I told him the whole story about my conversation with my son. And so we started to sit down and write it. And I'm like, you know what? This really feels kind of like a duet. Maybe if we can just have me talking to somebody at a Christmas party, and and kind of get that vibe. And so he was friends with Daniel Mason. He had written with Daniel a few times in Nashville. And so he asked Daniel if he could do a duet with me on this song. And I was very particular when it comes to listening to a male vocalist. I had someone in mind. I'm like, he needs to have like a little bit of I don't want to say like a raspier voice, but in my mind, that his voice fit perfectly for what I was hearing for my duet partner. So he came in, we had a great time recording the song. It was just fantastic. So I owe it all to my co-writer for getting me with Daniel.
Yeah, for me, these are two classics from you in Christmas, and I love them. I heard them right now the Christmas season, and I'm even taking advantage and listening to them in the Christmas season. And I think we even our program even left out an award via YouTube for the for one of the original Christmas albums, Christmas songs, Eggnog,
Yes.
and Sam Beneath the Mistletoe. Are you thinking about recording any more Christmas carols of the original style, or even recording in the near future a CD of Christmas carols?
Yes, so this year I was going to, but I just ran too far under the time limit. I'm going to Europe here next week, actually, so I ran out of time. I was actually going to do an EP, but this just gives me more time to work on it for next year. And Hal Odell, the gentleman that I talked about, who I wrote Eggnog with, him and I are actually in the process of writing a Christmas album that's going to be a specialty album. And we've been working on it this year. It's going to be really interesting. I'm really excited to release it next year. Hopefully there'll be some special guests on it, and that's all I can say about it right now. But you will be one of the first people to know about it once it gets going, and I'll definitely let you know.
Yeah, thank you very much, Carrie. And I will be one of the first to purchase it.
Oh, thank you.
Because I have a long collection of Christmas albums. Because I love the Christmas albums, and I love Christmas carols. And these ones were really great, especially the ones recorded on YouTube. I just want to take advantage and say that Eggnog and Sam Beneath the Mistletoes are destined to be classics for the 21st century.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And I also want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas too.
And to my public, I'll be saying goodbye later, but out to my public, I want to tell everybody from the American Bistro Grill here in Miami, Florida, not only Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, but also peace in, peace out, and peace everywhere. And please, as in the words of Laura Marie, the famous Texas singer-songwriter, be love. And I add, not only be love in this season, but all over. Because Christmas is every day when you have it in the heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you.